Our Orange Bowl pregame show continues now with Dave Weber, live from Miami.
Nebraska is making its 15th appearance here in the Orange Bowl tonight. Husker trainer George Sullivan has been in Miami for every single game. This will be the last appearance for him on the Husker sideline. Ross Jernstrom has more on that story.
I think he starts
I'm falling asleep on this one. It feels so good. Let's call him the Messiah.
For the last 45 years, George Sullivan has been helping Nebraska players bounce back from injuries. The Orange Bowl marks the final chapter in Sullivan's career on the Nebraska Athletic Department medical staff.
It's really only come into focus since Thanksgiving. You start thinking, even the people down there are very close. This is my 15th bowl, Orange Bowl, that is. And so these people, I'm working with the sons of the original ones I used to work with, you know, that are, and these people just do everything, knock themselves out to be assisted, thinking that you're not going to work with them again.
Sullivan was recently honored by his peers as the top trainer in his profession. The National Trainers Association honored Sullivan with the Tim Kerwin Award for Excellence. 25 years ago, Jerry Weber started as a trainer under Sullivan. He says the Husker trainer has a special relationship with his athletes.
I think the one thing George has always been able to get real fast into a kid's mind as to whether he needs to be hugged a little bit, whether he needs to be kicked in the butt, whether he needs to be yelled at, whether he needs to be spoken softly to, getting to that, being able to do that with kids from all over the country, from all backgrounds, for 45 years, I think says a lot about George Sullivan as a person.
The 1994 football season was rewarding and frustrating for Sullivan. He helped Nebraska's top two quarterbacks come back from serious injuries.
There was a lot of things that we couldn't do. I couldn't help them that much. We just had to have time. We had to have the other expertise of the many medical fields, having the lung problem and having the blood clots, and we having the only one we really helped was the sore shoulders. So yes, it was frustrating because I couldn't reach out there and grab them and say, let's work all night and have you ready tomorrow, you know.
Before Nebraska's final game of the year against Kansas, Sullivan was introduced before the Husker seniors. Sullivan was given a standing ovation from the fans in Memorial Stadium. The longtime trainer was surprised and touched by the reaction of the fans.
It became very emotional, even thinking of it now. But it was a real great thing.
Ross Jernstrom, Channel 6 Sports.
We're all going to miss George a lot. Sullivan will continue at Nebraska as a consultant with the medical staff. One of the players George treated during his season was sophomore free safety Mike Minter, who injured his knee against Texas Tech and missed the rest of the season. Mike, you had surgery. How's the knee feel?
I feel right now. I feel pretty good. You know, I'm going through workouts and it feels pretty strong. So I feel real good right now.
It was just tragic the way you had to go out, babe. What about the Nebraska defensive effort? What's going to be the key in the ball game for the Husker defense against Miami, do you think?
Well, the key is to get to the Costa and stop him, put pressure on him and make him crack and throw interception, because our DB is going to be there for the picks. So all we have to do is put pressure on him and we should come out on top.
I'd ask you who you're going to pick.
Oh yeah, you know I got to go with the Cornhuskers. We're going to come home and bring #1 home for y'all, so be ready for that.
All right, thanks. Mike Minter, sophomore free safety. He'll be back next season after knee surgery this season. One of the highlights during the Orange Bowl week was the parade and halftime show. Just like the football team, Nebraska's marching band has put plenty of time in preparing for the game. Ross Jernstrom has more on the band.
The Cornhusker Marching Band has spent hours of rehearsal time preparing for its 6-minute performance prior to the kickoff of tonight's Orange Bowl. The trip to Miami is part of a reward for a championship season.
So many bands that you know, when they go to a bowl game, it's once in a great while, but they have this 26-year tradition of going to bowl games. This is just, it's an unbelievable reward.
This is the largest marching band that Nebraska has ever sent to Miami. 296 musicians will perform in the pregame show. They believe the band is an asset to the team's success.
I think the band has a lot of morale factor as far as the whole game is concerned and as far as the team spirit and the team playing is concerned.
I think if we weren't there, we're like the heartbeat of the football stadium, you know. If we weren't there, then I think we'd kind of be dead a little bit. You know, we get the cheers going and everything and fight songs, so I think it's a big part of the atmosphere, the whole football atmosphere.
When the band marches on the turf at the Orange Bowl, they know what to expect from the Miami fans.
It's kind of funny because usually we go down and they boo us before we start playing, and then when we get done playing, they usually cheer us and clap us on, even the Miami people usually.
The big difference for the marching band tonight will be the support from the 15,000 Big Red fans at the game.
We've had such small turnouts the last couple of years, and we're all very excited to be able to walk into the stadium on New Year's night and see 15,000, 16,000 folks in red. I think it's going to be a great night.
The pride of Nebraska, the Husker Marching Band, and there's the cheerleaders. And when we come back, former Nebraska All-American Trev Alberts talks about the key to a Husker victory, and we'll take a look at the perfect student on the Nebraska team. But next, a moment in Orange Bowl history.
What is the longest touchdown run by a quarterback in the Orange Bowl? The answer's coming up next.